before, and we'll do it again because that is tradition around this channel. Hello everyone, welcome back to welcome back to the channel, to the Likely Bunker. It's time for our lovely, lovely day here in No More Heroes 2 land. Well, yeah, for until this episode is done, because I think this might work, right? I think you can hear that. Yeah. No More Heroes 2. It was an interesting little game. Like No More Heroes 1, I had stumbled upon this for this channel because it was an old childhood game of mine. Kind of at the wrong age though, because technically these games that you get are way much more for an older audience and stuff. Maybe especially even this one, because this one, No More Heroes 1 is a lot more tame compared to No More Heroes 2. I'm gonna turn down this audio. But yeah, No More Heroes 2, Desperate Struggle, is pretty different in a lot of ways. One of those things that we'll discuss in here is the story. The story is there's a story here now. Compared to No More Heroes 1, you didn't have a story really. It was really a game for shits and giggles. So yeah, this game, this game, I'm gonna, okay, yeah, this game, what do I say? This game story here is a theme of vengeance. Now, if we all know what the story was in partaking of the closing thoughts, is that we went to avenge our friend Bishop, who got killed for poetic justice. We killed the bad guy's family, 3 of them. Helter Skelter, Skelter Helter, and his father, who, in this case, the bad guy is Jasper Bat Jr. and Bat Corporate. Or Pizza Bat Corporate. We killed him off. Now, Pizza Bat was a thing in the first No More Heroes as assassination missions, and they didn't become a kind of a major force until No More Heroes, until this one. Considering that in No More Heroes 1, like I mentioned, No More Heroes 1 really was just a game that was all about shits and giggles, really. And a ranking gauntlet that we really kind of went towards just because malice. Well, not really malice, but just because we wanted to climb the ranks and get laid with Sylvia Christel, or Travis Touchdown did. Yeah. So this one is different. Now, there are a few similarities. One, it is getting laid again for Sylvia Crystal. But obviously, vengeance is the big kind of theme here. But there's more to this. As later down as the game gets, is the whole story within now that Santa Destroy, after 3 years have passed, has become a much more popular town because of the Ranking Gauntlet and Travis Touchdown. Now, Travis Touchdown went away for 3 years. He disappeared to do his own thing, basically. We don't know what he did during those 3 years. So yeah. We are blind in that department. But, Travis Touchdown came back. doing the ranking again. Well, not really until Sylvia Crystal made her little bargain. But before then, when Travis was told he was ranked 51, it was kind of a whole, well, don't feel like doing it because, you know, Travis already reached rank number 1. He was the old rank number 1. But now he's been knocked down a lot. There are new killers out there that have come around in the last 8 years. So yeah. But yeah, new killers have come around. There are more bosses, and yeah. So, what does No More Heroes 2 have new to offer in the game? Because we're still gonna go over the story, but I'll go a bit more over it. I'll like separate it a bit because the things I want to talk about first are less important than in the story, in my opinion. Even maybe characters, because we've really kind of discussed all the major characters in this game and stuff. Though we'll talk about them again for kind of new updates on them. So let's talk about the new kind of revamps in the system and the new stuff. No More Heroes 2 removed open world. They removed this time you no longer have to pay money and grind out the missions again. And there's obviously there are definitely some moments. There are definitely kind of like some withdrawals I would want back in No More Heroes 2, but there are also some kind of things that I did kind of enjoy without its help. Namely, No More Heroes 2 or No More Heroes 1's kind of big deal with it was grinding took a bit because of the whole going back and forth thing and doing the same exact thing for cash. That was kind of the deal with it. And the whole ATM thing obviously wasn't fun for many people who played No More Heroes 1. Well, maybe. But yeah, No More Heroes 1's whole deal with the ATM system, there was no bugs to it. It was just you had to grind your cash. That's kind of like why No More Heroes 1 I think is longer than No More Heroes 2 in general. Is because grinding in the game, you don't have to grind No More Heroes 2. You don't have to. But getting new stuff does require you to get some money. But you don't have to grind. Generally the thing. And Rose Nasty also is a free katana in the game. Because you'll have Bloodberry and stuff, but yeah. The new Rose Nasty, which I, in my opinion, think is the best katana in the game. It does come around. Now it does come after the first half of the game, technically, so yeah. But other than that, you can use Bloodberry all your way up and then get Rose Nasty and do your things. Now, there are some things you also want to do is, you want to train with Ryan to get stronger and stuff, but if you think you're capable of living most attacks, then you don't even have to go to Ryan. So yeah, this game can be really short if you're really good at it, and you just dodge everything and you don't get hit by anything. So yeah, that's kind of the gist of things. So, what other things? Let's see. Another thing, the jobs. The jobs are pretty much different except for one. Yeah, there are 7 jobs in here, and in my opinion, the job system in here is better than the job system in the first game. Not because, like, in terms of, like, in No More Heroes 1, you had to simply play around with your character. You had to play around with Travis just doing chores and stuff, and there was no problem to it at all. In fact, the No More Heroes 1 job system is not bad at all, really. I mean, like, I don't have much to complain about it. I just think No More Heroes 2 is better because it's a whole new different thing, and it's well designed. It is very well. It is, I think, pretty nice to play around with the jobs and stuff. And through that exposition and stuff. Well, not exposition. I don't know why. I'm just throwing in words that don't make sense. But other than that, the jobs don't have the jobs are fun in here, except for one, and that is the scorpion job. The scorpion job came back, and yeah, it's not that fun. Um, but yeah, other than that, yeah, both job systems are good. No Mercy 2, in my opinion, is better though. What I do miss though is the assassination missions. You do have revenge missions, but they are instead for simply getting your revenge. For killing the people who technically did kill Bishop, you get that, and you do get a reward which is no shirt, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, you have no job, or no, you have no assassination missions. So yeah. Yeah, I'm texting someone right now. Sorry. But anyways, well, I'll try multitasking this. So yeah, the job system is good. What is okay? So if there is some things though about this new kind of revamped system, I don't know what to say about open world being removed, because there are some goods in it and there are some bads in it. One, the open world was actually pretty fine, honestly. I had no problem with the open world. One thing was is that some of the people that you had that were in No More Heroes 1 that aren't in No More Heroes 2, they gave out some pretty good stuff. The lobby call balls that you grinded for were really cool. They were really cool. And I'm sad that you don't have those anymore because there's no open world. You have no more really like tricks up your sleeve. So yeah, it's a little bit of a bummer. Yeah, the assassinations being gone, and yeah. Now, Ryan replaces Thunder Ryu. Now, in terms of difficulty, I like it more. I like it more. Ryan's muscle thing is really difficult, but I think it's definitely satisfying when you beat those missions. In terms of getting those powers fast so I can just be cracked, sure, I like it. I do like it. And I also like Thunder Ryu as a person. So yeah, I have really nothing to say. I think they're on the same level. Yeah. So, another thing that I think, Naomi is back. You don't travel to her place anymore, and I think within that, yeah, you don't travel to her place anymore, and she's changed a bit. Her jugs are, yeah. Her jug, she got a, yeah. That's that's her, that's like her deal. And yeah, what is also left? Okay, Airport 51 guys back, nothing much there, but I like the design choices. So yeah, I like the design choices, so Um, I guess aside from Airport 51, uh, and then I think the last thing is, no, I think that's it for like open world and stuff and all that stuff. Yeah, and then revenge missions, which obviously we talked about. But revenge missions, they're like assassination missions, but yeah, you're on revenge and that, with that whole deal, and you're killing them. And your reward is no shirt if you, or is no jacket. So if you want to rock no jacket, you perfectly can with that, which I did for a little bit. So yeah. Um, the yeah. So now left we have gameplay. Gameplay. Yeah, I like it still. I may even like it more. Tracking system. I can't remember. I think No More Heroes 1's tracking system was a little buggy, but the tracking system is a little same, but I think it's more polished. I think. I couldn't really. I would have to go back to No More Heroes 1, but to check for both. Yeah, No More Heroes 2's tracking system and gameplay is it's pretty cool. The new wall habit thing that you can do is busted because you can get enemies trapped on the wall and they can't do anything. Rose Nasty is an amazing katana. I love it. The katanas that they brought in here now, there's more variety. Even if there's only 4 yet again, there is more variety. Bloodberry, Tsubaki, Peony, and Rose Nasty. So yeah, you can play around with the things that are given to you for that. Another thing is, I didn't do much grab moves in this game, but the grab moves are back and they're cool. There is the whole finishing blows are back and good as ever. Though I guess with Rose Nasty, they're actually kind of hard when they have that 2 thing. But yeah. Um. Yeah. Gameplay, pretty nice. So yeah. I can't decide which one's better yet because I have to go back to No More Heroes 1, but yeah, that's whatever. Yeah. The, let's talk about the bosses now. So, the bosses here. Alright. We start off with Skelter Helter. There are more bosses in this game than No More Heroes 1. There are more bosses. Skelter Helter. You, instead of like not being able to fight Helter Skelter, this time you actually get to basically you start off with a boss fight, which is Skelter Helter. Now, Skelter Helter obviously is he's kind of like the warning to Travis that things will not go as they seem with this next ranking gauntlet that he's participating in. So yeah, he's kind of the start of all things, and other than that, he's a pushover kind of. I mean, he's a Cloud Strife looking motherfucker, and he has a gun, which is cool. His theme song is really cool. I like it. I like his theme song. So yeah. Other than that, that's Skelter Helter. The next one is Nathan Copeland, which I have nothing much to say, except that he is this fan of Travis and stuff, you know. His Battlefield, he's honestly yet again another pushover. I didn't have much problem with him. But yeah, others will probably have trouble with him because of the room itself. And yeah, it's a bit not fun to deal with, but yeah. Other than that, what else is kind of left in here? I guess that's it for Nathan Copeland, except for the fact that he's a DJ boxing dude who is is he Scottish or something? I can't tell what his accent is. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Next up, we have Charlie McDonald and his groupies, which is such a cool fight. I love it. You fight in your big Mechazoid, and yeah, it's really cool. But yeah, you fight Charlie, and The finisher is really cool. He's a football quarterback, I guess. I don't know. Football player, killer dude, with all his cheerleaders and stuff. That love him obviously. And yeah, um, that's him. So yeah. Uh, Next up was Matt Helms. I have not much to say, but the fact that he does a lot of damage. He's a flame-throwing person that can't really die, but can be stopped, I guess, or can pass in the Great Gauntlets if you beat him in a fight. So yeah, that's Matt Helms. Um, what was the next fight? Chloe Walsh, I think, was the next fight. Chloe Walsh, in one of the easier fights in the game because of how slow and open she is. Her moves and stuff. But she is unique in terms of how she fights, so that's pretty cool. Also, the level's interesting, but yeah. Other than that, that's really it for Chloe Walsh. So yeah. Um, what is left? What's next? I cannot remember. I'm gonna check my YouTube because I might bring some. That might bring some things. So yeah, let's see here. Ooh, after that, it's Dr. Let's Shake. Yeah, that's the next fight. Dr. Let's Shake. He's back, but this time you can actually fight him, which is really cool because I think he's a hype fight. His gimmick is interesting and he's easy, but it's so cool to fight like him and see how how much he's changed. So yeah, a blast from the past from No More Heroes 1. So yeah, that was really cool to fight Dr. Let's Shake. Wish there was more, but yeah, really cool. One of the first few fights in the game that's really cool. And then we get the Shinobu segment. Ugh. So, you start off with Million Gunman, who, obviously, his battle might not be fun for most. I did not think it was much of a problem, but yeah. He's kind of a gimmick into where you have to chase him down and you have to listen to where he's at and stuff. And yeah. Other than that, it wasn't too much of a problem, except for the fact that he has one of the hardest stun locks to really kind of dodge. But you can attack him mid stun lock if you mash the buttons, which comes in really effective. So yeah. Yeah. So that's Million Gunman, and then we have New Destroyman, who's also back, which unfortunately I feel like wasn't done much justice because kind of the form of that fight is focusing on one guy and then have to wait for the other guy, or else you have to play it it can be super long if you don't realize if you are new to it basically and don't realize what they're doing. So yeah, it's we got a IHOP commercial. But yeah. That's that whole deal. So, who's next after Million Gunman and New Destroyman? Oh yeah, another absolute dope fight is Ryuji. Ryuji is such a cool fight. A Japanese warrior who comes obviously from the east. But he comes in and he's a cool, nice little fight. You do start off a bike section, which I think was the only section I got a game over in, which is sad. I did not remember how to play that part, and yeah, I got a game over on that one. So yeah, I think that was the only 1 to 2 game over that I got. But if you don't count that bike section, then I think I went through the entire game without getting a game over. So, but other than that, what we have next is, oh wait, we're not done with Ryuji actually. But yeah, and aside from the bike part, Ryuji's actual fight is really cool because he has kind of like a halberd kind of I mean, it's not really a halberd. It's like a more so like a halberd style katana, really. But it's not really a halberd. I don't know what to call it fully, or I don't know what word is the actual right mention. So, but yeah, and he summons in Darkstar's dragon, which was really cool because now you actually have to run for your life away from it. So yeah, that fight was really cool. I love it. I think Ryuji is one of the best fights in the game. Yeah. Yeah, I really do hate how he was gunned down, but it's whatever. It makes sense. After Ryuji is Mimi. Mimi is a weird fight, but you get to play as Henry, which is really cool. And Henry is a fast dude, and you know, compared to Shinobu, Henry plays a lot better than Shinobu, and yeah, which obviously I have to get down to after the bosses. But yeah, you fight Mimi, who's like an amalgamation from Travis's whole bizarre jelly show that Henry has to fight and stuff. That doesn't count as a raking fight, but it's, you know, it's whatever. And obviously you rescue Henry from Dr. Let's Shake, so yeah. After Mimi, also there is like a jerk off thing that's happening after Henry wakes up that you can see from Travis. So yeah. Within that, so the next part. The next part is, well, no, the next one. After Henry ends up killing some ranking fights, so that basically shortens our game, basically. We get on to the next. We have the final four. And 3 of them are dope as hell. Also, there's Kimi Howell, which was an interesting fight. Yeah, kind of a pervert killer, but yeah, she has a flute katana, and instead of killing her, you just knock her out. So yeah, what and whatnot. So, with the next fight, another high pass fight, is Margaret Moonlight, and she is a Grim Reaper maid who has the best battle theme in the game. It is, yeah. I didn't expect it to play the Japanese version, so yeah. But I mean, this was a port to the Steam version as Japanese, so yeah. Other than that, yeah, the game, the fight with Margaret Moonlight is really cool. It's a bit of a gimmick and stuff because you have to run towards her while she shoots her weapons. So it is you have to dodge a lot. You have to get familiar with dodging in that fight, basically, which is her whole shtick. And yeah, Margaret Moonlight, really cool fight. Philistine, by the way, is the name of the track behind her fight if you want to listen to that. It's a really good track. So yeah. Other than that, next up we have Captain Vladimir, the Russian space naut. And yeah, Captain Vladimir, with Captain Vladimir, he is a whole cool, it's a whole cool, kind of like Chloe Wash, except pretty cool. I think much done better and stuff. But he has his gimmick is his shield and the big laser of Doom. You can't run into the big laser of Doom because it's a 1 kill, but it's easy to dodge. But yeah, he basically is a boss with full of lasers, and he has tentacles around him and everywhere. And you can break the shield once you hit all the tentacles and stuff. But yeah, that's him and all. And he's a really cool fight, and the music honestly is really cool. I really like his battle theme. And yeah, and he has probably one of the most peaceful and loving aftermaths in the game. And yeah. Now, with the whole bit between, you know, those two, I can't say much, honestly, about, you know, Russia and stuff, so, yeah. Other than that, really cool fight. I really liked it. And we get down to, Alice Twilight after a melancholy, level. With her, you basically, she is what I consider one of the harder fights in the game because she has she has a really her battlefield basically does make you aware of the surroundings. You have to be aware of the surroundings. She also moves a lot. She does have a lot of openings, but yeah, she has a lot of attacks that do knock you back. So yeah, you have to be aware of that. She's basically a knockback fighter. So yeah, you can't really afford to get hit all the time because you need to get those attacks on her. So I think she's one of the harder fights in the game and in the series in general. So yeah. Her also when she uses her core to have her higher in the air and so she can throw her beam katanas at you. If you're still not used to dodging, that move will become a living nightmare for you. So yeah, be prepared if you ever play this game on Steam. So yeah, or on Nintendo and stuff, or Nintendo Wii. Yeah, Nintendo Wii to Wii U. So yeah. Um, but yeah. Let me get this out of the way. But yeah. Um, what is up next for this whole with this next run? I guess it would be um okay, so yeah, after Alice Twilight, the final fight we have is Jasper Bat Jr., which is a three-phase fight. Now, honestly, as a character, I don't like Jasper Bat Jr. As a fight, not great. But other than that, it's a final boss and it's whatever. While Henry, I think, was the better final boss, obviously, out of the two. Jasper does obviously have some satisfaction to killing him. And yeah, he was the reason Bishop died, and I'll take that. There's three phases. The first and third phase, pushovers. Second phase, tedious. One of the hardest fights. But other than that, I never really had I never really had a problem much with him. I definitely had to mash a lot when I got knocked into fainting zone kind of thing. But we beat him and we didn't get knocked into the window. So yeah, all about that buzz. So yeah, man, I died to Ryuji twice because of the bike section, but I didn't die to Jasper Bat Jr. Kind of says a lot. So yeah. Also, Pione, I didn't get too much of a good representation, but Pione staggers Jasper Bat Jr. and that makes that makes Jasper Bat Jr.'s second phase really easy, because that thing staggers him all the time if you connect your hits with it. So yeah. So yeah, that's the bosses. Now, let us talk about the updates to the characters. So, not much we have here. Henry doesn't really have much of an upgrade, but he's back and we kind of rescue him and we get to play as him, and yeah, he kind of comes in for us. He still asks to continue that fight we had in the first game, which Sylvia ended. But aside from that, Henry got divorced from Sylvia, so he's single. But yeah, Henry's he's doing fine. I wish we saw more of him in this game. You will see more of him in No More Heroes 3, though. But I won't say anything more than that. So yeah. Yeah. So, Shinobu. Yeah. She's back, and you play as her for 2 missions. Now, obviously, this is not a problem with her character at all, but this is a problem with the system that was implemented with her. The jumping system that is on Shinobu, or really the Shinobu system, does not work well. You fall off all the time. Tracking while jumping is really, really bad. it's pretty bad. So yeah, you have to deal with that in that. So you just let go of tracking when you're jumping, really, so that you can have an easier time. But even then, jumping really isn't implemented well in this game. It's not that great. But jumping came back in this in No More Heroes 3. It's a lot better. So yeah, glad for that. Yeah. I think aside from that, Shinobu's character here is interesting. She now calls Travis Master, and she went to Asia to fight, and she won World Champion basically. Yeah, Asia or Africa, I think, one of those two regions or continents. But yeah, she went to fight, and she got a championship belt, and she went in to take placements as for Travis to kill and stuff. So yeah, um, basically, she kind of develops some sort of love or some sort of kind of feelings for Travis and stuff, but Travis declines. Obviously, that does not make her happy at all, and she leaves without a word. Yeah. I think other than that, Shinobu comes back. She's a bit more, not as. I mean, she's kind of her same self when she's fighting people, but other than that, yeah, she does have a bit of a change in this game. So yeah, and obviously she replaced her arm that got cut off from when Travis fought her, and yeah, she has a robotic arm. She has a prosthetic arm now. Kind of actually though, not fully prosthetic arm, but like have a prosthetic arm. It's definitely prosthetic hand though. So yeah. Um. Other than that, yeah. Next up is Sylvia Crystal, one of the bigger changed characters in this game, because Sylvia Crystal has now actually made the UAA kind of an existing thing. Compared to the first game, where the UAA didn't exist, this time UAA exists, so that's fun. And yeah, as obviously Santa Destroy is bigger than ever, and yeah, she obviously works for the association. That is until Travis shut it down. But yeah, Sylvia's back, hotter, honestly, much more attractive this time, and yeah, she's still the snobby little, asshole she is, but obviously, there is much more within the story now that makes kind of a whole bickering process between assassins, Travis, and Sylvia, kind of a thing. So yeah, she's also kind of that sex worker once the UAA is finished, which eventually will also get shut down. Um, but not because of Travis. But yeah, and she's behind all those stuffs. And while we don't know if she was talking to Travis Touchdown, or if she was talking to some person we have no clue about, yeah, No More Heroes 2 within Sylvia Crystal is a whole new person. And that's really it. But other than that, Sylvia Crystal, who kind of like does a lot of mean things. She guns down Ryuji, and she's still working for that. And because of the UAA, she puts on a policy and stuff. And Travis gets annoyed of it, very annoyed of it. So yeah. Obviously that's why there comes big characters like Alice Twilight, who kind of tells of the whole Travis of the whole problems with the UAA and why it's a very bad, messed up system. Because UAA does not care for the assassins, in which, in honesty, I don't think I really also care for the assassins. But as of a whole, assassins aren't the greatest thing to have in the world, and the whole system behind the UAA is really messed up. And so yeah, and also compared to the first game, Sylvia, Crystal, and Travis do it. So yeah, that's interesting. Um, but the other thing, well, I think that's it, and we have our last character to talk about, Travis Touchdown. So yeah, Travis Touchdown. Any updates on him? Still the badass otaku, but now he's on vengeance, and now he's annoyed with all the stuff that's going around within the UAA. So yeah, not fun for her. Not fun for him. But he's back in action, and he's ready to kick some ass, and he's ready to take revenge for Bishop, who is his best friend basically. And yeah, that's a whole really cool, system, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, I think really, I am, I really, I really like Travis even more now because of this game. He's hilarious. He's like getting even more character development, and yeah, he really does. He really does take it up a notch when he's just tired of all this shameless killing and stuff. So yeah. Other than that, he is still the ironic otaku who is just all sorts of, like, all sorts of goofy and stuff. Comic relief character who really doesn't give a shit about you. But other than that, his development from 1 to 2 is cool. It's really cool. Unfortunately, I don't have much to say otherwise. Because, yeah, there really wasn't much. Compared to No More Heroes 1, where I could talk about all the characters, because that was the biggest part of that game, the story really does kind of take it for this. So, yeah, I'll have to continue the story. Yes. This is now a story about vengeance and realization, really. Melancholy kind of themes here and about. Still the goofy stuff and, the whole wanting to bang Sylvia's ordeal. But this time it's kind of a more, what is this whole point now about killing people just for your own gain? When now it's really kind of a whole experiencing the terrible faction of the UAA that they really are. And so yeah, it's not only a theme, it's not only a fight for vengeance, but it's a battle, but it's also a battle against the UAA, and a battle also against Jasper Bad Jr., obviously, we can't forget him. But yeah. So Travis is on a mission for vengeance for his best friend's death, Bishop, who has obviously talked a bit. There's also the guy who has the Rose Nasty sword for Travis and stuff. And, what is it? A lot of characters kind of come in mind to tell Travis, or there are moments where, like, characters that Travis faces off against is a bit more subtle now, and a bit more meaningful. It's kind of a first signs of that with Dr. Electric and Ryuji. Now, Dr. Electric doesn't really have much, but it's more so of him now talking with Shinobu about the whole deal. Ryuji is when it starts getting to him, because Ryuji was a warrior that he was absolutely fond of fighting. He didn't know Ryuji, obviously, but he obviously had a great time fighting Ryuji because, it was like an actual battle to, like, who is better in their ways and who will attain. And, he obviously he didn't feel like killing Ryuji. And so, but obviously Ryuji was killed because Sylvia gunned him down because, possibilities and stuff, That is an unfortunate trueness because you never truly know if they'll come back to kill you and stuff. Which, yeah, it's kind of a whole think about it your own kind of thing. Either you think Ryuji wasn't going to kill him or Ryuji was going to come back for more fights. So yeah, other than that, there's more to it. Margaret Moonlight doesn't really shine much But it's kind of a whole, another awesome fight that, Travis gets a little, interested about, because the song and Margaret's kind of words to him is more so of a whole, did you enjoy this, or was it fun while it lasted, kind of thing. And yeah, while there wasn't much gain, it was cool to see how it'd go. We then have the whole kind of thing where Travis kind of scolds Sylvia for, about how assassins are humans too, and they have hearts and stuff. And yeah, that whole kind of thing with that cutscene when Sylvia tells Travis that she is divorced of Henry. Um, then we go down to Captain Vladimir and Alice, which are obviously the bigger things on it. Well, also Jasper Bat Jr. But Captain Vladimir was kind of like a sign of like Travis noticing that this guy hasn't realized that he has been here for so long and that he's been stuck through this memory haze and stuff. He doesn't know where he's at. And so when we beat him, instead of like going like, instead of like just like cutting his body to pieces and stuff, we basically destroy the satellite connecting him so that he can wake up and notice that he's on Earth, that the whole place that Captain Vladimir has lived. And so Travis does that sparingly so that Captain Vladimir can actually have a peaceful death. And when Sonya tries to suck him up with the goons and stuff, Travis refuses to let them do it, basically, and all that stuff, and so they don't do it. So yeah, and in Alice Twilight is when Travis snaps, because Alice has had it with Sylvia at that point. And yeah, from that point on, he's annoyed with he's annoyed with it, and he does not want it anymore. So yeah, basically he goes on this whole tangent up to Sylvia that assassins aren't little tools in this game, that the UAA is putting them up, and that he basically now makes it a mission to not only get vengeance but to shut down the UAA, which obviously coming by the end of the game, he shut it down. He did indeed stop it by beating everyone and ending it off, probably spreading whole things, about how terrible the system is. And yeah. And with him shutting it down, there is no UAA. But yeah. Before we get onto that, we obviously have to talk about Jasper Bat Jr. on the whole, thing. Jasper Bat Jr. was basically part of the vengeance side of things. He was going against Jasper Bat because he wanted vengeance for Bishop and stuff, and yeah, Jasper being that whole fight, with some things. Jasper obviously tried to get into Travis' head with the whole heads and stuff to feel that whole vengeance and that whole anger, getting to Travis. But Henry comes in to kind of, that gives Travis a sign of relief, because he could probably get into proper mental shape now and truly fuck with Jasper Bat's day. And so he does. Now obviously Jasper Bat, as I explained, is one of the harder fights in the series because of the second phase. So yeah, it's annoying. And sure, you can get different feelings about vengeance, but because of how this game ends, it is without a doubt the game to itself is a thing about vengeance, and vengeance has been completed and satisfied, and there is no signs of Travis actually feeling bad about it, because he is truly not, because now he feels relieved that he can let Bishop rest in peace. So yeah, and Paradise, which was obviously one thing that No More Heroes 1 talked about a lot, but they throw it in again in No More Heroes 2 at its ending, that Travis can finally feel relieved. So yeah, and because of that, No More Heroes 3 took 10 to 11 years to release. It is crazy how long No More Heroes, the gap was between those two. And there was even a spin-off, but between mainline, it was 10 to 11 years, because the spin-off obviously is a spin-off, it's not mainline stuff. So yeah. Yeah. that is the story. That is No More Heroes 2. Desperate Struggle. Honestly, this game, I don't know what to say if it's better or not than No More Heroes 1. Between the two, it was really fun playing these games together in front of y'all. Now, obviously, it's not it for No More Heroes, um, really in the series, because there is No More Heroes 3. There is No More Heroes 3 now, which is cool as fuck. I have the copy of the game. Though it is up in the air in this channel whether or not I'll play it, because I don't have the stuff for it. I actually have an Elgato that can work probably, that can definitely work. I just don't have, I don't have everything in peace for it. So, No More Heroes 3 is up in the air right now. But, probably wasn't going to come back to it for a while. Other than that, yeah, we're technically not finished with No More Heroes yet. But, it was a blast playing these two games again. And yeah, it was great. Honestly, I have been thinking though, I don't know, I haven't fully decided on it, but I may have been thinking of like making a whole bitter kind of thing, like giving like my thoughts on how I feel about bitter and stuff, like a few episodes on either game. But I haven't fully come down to my preference about it yet. I'm not sure whether or not I want to do it yet, really. So yeah, but that was a fun time. No More Heroes 2. It is it is still a blast to play. And yeah, both games are. So yeah, that is it. No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle is done. So yeah. Thank you all so much for coming by on this lovely day of No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle, and on the channel, Arkhaotic in our lovely bunker. Peace, peeps.